Mike. I'm back again with another workout. This time I'm showing a priority 3 workout, which I don't think I've shown on here before. So it's a little bit different, and I'm using the developmental block template. So from that, this workout looks a little bit different than most of the other priority 3 workouts that you might see. This one's a little bit more supplemental in nature. The focus is really more on some supplemental type of lifts. Like you'll see that I'm starting out with squats again. I'm doing some two count pause squats. But you'll see later on in the video that I move on to some Pendlay rows and some dumbbell benching. So clearly things are a little bit more supplemental in nature. It's not all about pounding out heavy squats, benches, and deadlifts in these priority 3 sessions. Like I said, I'm starting out with some 2 count pause squats, and I know for me, from looking at the strength curve, my weakness in the squat tends to be just about parallel, just as I'm coming out of the hole. So those first couple inches, I've got good power there, but after that, my power drops off a lot. So by doing pause squats, I'm really spending a lot of time in that joint angle and that critical position in the bottom of the squat. And by spending time at that position, I'm able to develop strength in that position. And also, by doing a pause squat, it removes the stretch reflex. The stretch reflex is allowed to dissipate to a great deal, so that also helps emphasize the movement a little bit higher up as well. If you could see a velocity graph of one of these pause squats, you would see that the bar speed stays pretty slow up until about halfway up. Once you get about halfway up, your leverages are getting better, and the weight isn't so heavy to keep you slow the whole way, the entire range of motion, but it really emphasizes that bottom half position. So I'm still going through some warm-ups here in the video. This is 425 warm-up. Also got a question in some YouTube comments about how often I train and what my frequency is like and stuff like that. I try to do 4 main training sessions a week. Some weeks it's 3. I'm using a flex template, so like you hear me talk about my workouts as priorities. So like I've got my priority 1 workout, and that happens first in the week, so I'm sure that I'll get it done. I've got 4 planned training sessions, but you know, life happens sometimes, and sometimes stuff comes up, and if you can't get to a session, I want to make sure that I'm at least getting the most important work done each week. And I wrote about flex templates on the website. If you do a Google search for Reactive Training Systems flex template, you should probably be able to find it. It's in the forum on the Reactive Training Systems website. But that's what I'm using right now. It's kind of a variation of flex template. This is the first work set. This is 565. Should be for a 2 count pause double. Because I'm using the flex templates, the frequency stays pretty high. I want to make sure that I'm not missing entire workouts. Like if you're doing a body part split, something comes up and you can't make a session, then you missed half of your bench volume for a week or something like that. Whereas the way this is, it's more balanced. It's a more balanced approach for those contingency type of situations. And we don't like that those happen, but it's a fact of life. They do happen. So there's not much we can do to get around it. This is the second work set. This was 595 for a double. The weights were feeling a little bit heavy on this day too. It's kind of the priority 1 and 2 workouts are pretty tough. So this one, I'm definitely feeling it a little bit, and so things were a little bit on the heavy side. And then pause work in general is just really tough work for any kind of a lift, particularly on a deadlift, but pause squats too. They're definitely no walk in the park. My frequency being 425 times a week, as an ideal for me. I work with a lot of guys who couldn't make 4 times a week under the best circumstances, so we train them 3 times a week. And then other people, it's just more appropriate that they train 3 times a week. It's not necessarily about you have to do 4 or anything like that, but different people need different training frequencies. For me, 4 is a good point to be at. This was the top set at 6:15, but for me, 4 is a good place to be. But then for other people, they need to be at 3. And the templates change as you go from block to block, or at least that's how I train. Some training blocks will be a lower frequency, and some will be a higher frequency. Some are 3 sessions a week, some are 4 sessions a week. I've got some guys that cut down to 2 sessions a week. Some are up at 5 sessions a week. So it really depends on the individual, and that's how I program training for my athletes. We really focus on what does that individual need. So that was all for the pause squats. Now, clearly I'm moving on to some dumbbell benching. It looks a little ridiculous, as you can see, but we just kind of make do with what we got. I'm training at home, so I don't really have an excess of 25-pound plates. That first one was a warm-up, and this is the first work set at 130 pounds for 6. But it does look a little ridiculous with the 45-pound plates on the dumbbells, but that's out of necessity. I can't make a dumbbell heavy enough with just a handful of 25-pound plates, so I've got to use my 45s. Luckily, my forearms are long enough that I can still get a full range of motion. I just need to really focus on getting that full range of motion. This is the second work set with 140 pounds, 140-pound dumbbells. I've had some technique challenges with this before. I did this last week, and I saw the video of it, and they were pretty terrible. I was shorting the reps pretty bad, so this week I really focused on completing each rep, touching the dumbbells together at the top, and that helps me remember to lock them out. This set is the top set, the 150-pound dumbbells. Those dumbbells are hooked onto that bar with power hooks, but normal power hooks aren't long enough. So these are specially modified power hooks that we lengthened them so that they would be long enough to extend past the diameter of a 45-pound plate, because I know what the setup that I have. I'm familiar with that, so went ahead and customized that equipment to make sure that it works. And this is my drop set with 140 pounds. Fatigued pretty quickly on these. It's a little bit higher rep work than what most powerlifters do, what most of us are used to for main work at least. A lot of guys do assistance work in the six rep range, and that's not terribly high rep work or anything, but when it's a little higher rep than what you're used to, you do tend to fatigue rather quickly on stuff like that. And then here I'm coming in on my last exercise, some Pendlay rows. This is my warm-up set with 245. I don't always recommend Pendlay rows or any kind of row really for helping to improve the deadlift. Since this occurs in a main workout, you can pretty much bet that the reason that I'm doing it is to help improve my deadlift. This is the first work set with 315. I recommend that everybody do some sort of pulling movements, some rowing movements, but whether that occurs in your GPP session or your main session, it kind of depends. Depends on the individual and their weakness in the deadlift. This is the second set with 335. Generally, people that are weak off the floor or weak very high aren't going to get much out of doing rows. But if you're kind of weak through the middle, it's that transitional period somewhere around mid-shin, below the knee. That's where your weakness is at. Not where the barbell is slowest, but where it decelerates the most, which is an important distinction. But if you've got any more questions on that, you should really check out the weakness analysis that we offer on the RTS website. This is the top set with 365 for 6. Uh, Not a great rower here, but just trying to get a little better at it. Probably not that great at it because I need more work at it. I mean that would explain the weakness as well. Also, I'm obviously using straps for this, which I'm okay with clearly because I'm doing it. But my reasoning for using straps on this is because it's double overhand, and for me, grip would be an issue with this weight with a double overhand grip. Um, since I want the lift to emphasize the rowing movement and my back muscles, then I went ahead and went with the straps. You know, this see, so that was the top set, and this set's my drop set with 335 again. The target of this exercise isn't really to train the grip. I do other exercises, other deadlift supplemental exercises, and a lot of deadlifting in general without straps. I never use straps for my main lifts um, because grip is an important part of it. But for this one, I went ahead and made an exception. So that's it for this workout. If you guys have any questions, check out reactivetrainingsystems.com, and thanks for listening. If you have any other questions that you want to get answered, make sure to put them in the comments.